Hello and welcome back to Hearts of Iron 3 and Black Ice, version 13 and the Japan campaign. And where we left off, we were building up our army and getting ourselves ready for war with China. And slightly belatedly, we're a little bit further through July than I would have liked. We are pretty much ready to go. We have the Shina Chuntagun, which is ready to go with about 350,000 troops. Ready to be deployed, and we have a further 179,000 troops under Yoshiriki. Yes, we're going to go with that. And we have Tanaka and his group here with several armies, and we will talk through these before we begin the war. Now, over here, we've got pretty much like our garrison Korea forces in this part of the world, so not doing kind of a great deal there. Then we've got our army here. Now, this group is going to be used to land, hopefully, over here at Liangang. Yes, we're going to go with that. And we're also going to achieve naval superiority at the same time. Then once we've done the landing there, I'm then proposing that we do a landing in and around Shanghai. So yeah, a few different landings to kick off with, really, and get ourselves organized with. Next up, we want to give you a commander. Oh, sorry about that. If you hear a bit of clunking, it's me sorting out the mic, being a pain. So yeah, all in all, pretty happy. So over here, we have the 3rd Army, which is mainly an army made up of infantry units that are going to smash to take Tianjin and Beijing. Then we have a relatively large motorized force. So we've got about 9 motorized and semi-motorized divisions that are going to push through into Yongqing and Zulhao? Don't know. But we're going to use some infantry to kind of support this push here and push into here too. The early first grab is going to be Jiangxi, and then we're going to want to make a move quite quickly, I think, onto... So how many victory provinces do they have? 99.9. The main one is to take Yuan. All the others are kind of secondary, so we're going to want to try and push there. Now, for that purpose, we've got a relatively weak army over here, and relatively kind of a few corps effectively of second line troops to hopefully deal with them over here and move on hot. And then Tianwan. But yeah, with these infantry here. So one push this way, a little bit of a push over the river here, and then hopefully, like I say, a bit of work to be done over at Liangang. But yeah, we will see on that front. So we're going to... Oh, and we've got the Air Force in place as well. So we've got a single transport plane there to do a bit of support. We've got some light bombers that have got really good range all the way over here. So should be able to provide a bit of support. We've got some medium bombers that also have pretty good range all the way up to about this river location here. And a little bit inland as well. So should be able to do a bit of supporting. And then we do have some fighter bombers, which should be able to, yeah, so they just about can reach kind of the coastline over here. And then hopefully we can support with some of our naval ships as well while we're at it. So, we know we've got the landing group there. And we've got the Congos group, although, yeah, we have rebuilt... the he, but that's fine. We'll deal with that another time. So let's start getting our naval assets up and running. So we're going to send you on a patrol mission there, and we're going to send the Fuzo group over there, and we're going to send the Congo group over there, and then we're going to use the Soryu group with the Zviho, and use them over there. And then we're going to use Hosho's slightly older carrier group in that area. And then we'll use... you know what, we'll also move you over there at the same time. Let's do the Marco Polo Bridge. So we'll declare war on the Republic of China. We'll gain 10 threat on the United Kingdom, and we'll lose relationship with the USA, the UK, Soviet Union, the Republic of China, Shanghai, and the Guangxi clique. We will gain 100 manpower, which is nice. We'll lose 40 in neutrality, and we'll lose 10 descent. So let's have a little look at our laws. So first of all, is there anything that we should be taking off for now? No. Looks good. Fairly good across the piece. I don't think... Well, we could requisition a bit of shipping, actually. Let's take what we can on that one. So, a few more naval landing ships might actually help us substantially for shifting our forces over. Okay, so we've got synthetic plant. And I think we will expand our synthetic industry. And we will do the home front. So we'll lose a further 5,000 supply, but that's okay. We'll have a slightly less revolt risk, which is good. A little bit more energy. We'll gain a bit of metal, a bit of rares, and a bit of more manpower. A further 100. We'll gain some officers. We'll lose 500 money, and we'll gain 2 descent, which we should be able to remove in fairly short order. Okay, and then let's have a little run through. So, legalistic restrictions still fine. Don't need to do service by requirement. We will go over to war economy because we're at war. And don't need to do that. And I think we will do normal conscription. Right, and let's start getting some of these up and running. So, to be fair, some of these battles might not go kind of perfectly in the first instance. So, we'll have to see how we do. So, right, we're going to use the semi-motorized. And that infantry unit there to lead the charge. And we'll use some of you like so. Now, to get up to 100% leadership, I did do a little trick, which is I set a bunch of our units to upgrade. By doing that, we got a load of additional resource, or officers, sorry, into the production side of things, which is good. We managed to build that up, so that's nice going. So, let's do a little bit of overwhelming force here. And, yeah, use our infantry accordingly. Can we do a little bit of a bombing mission here? I would say yes. And then, yeah, maybe a similar mission down there. But we'll hold off on that for a second. In fact, let's do the bombing there. Right, so a few people want to trade us supplies to give us a little bit more money, and you know what? I'm absolutely okay with that. Right, there's those there's those extra auxiliary vessels. Okay, and I wonder whether or not we can get another couple of kind of units together here. Like, if this is another unit that we can include on a... yeah, we can't make it 3, but we can make it 2. 2's pretty good. So there's our first naval combat against a couple of light cruisers. And then, yeah, let's postpone. Okay, and there's our war there. Right, let's take you like so. And maybe we'll take you over there as well. Let's do that, and then the rest of these divisions can do this. And then I think we'll take both of you like that. And you know what, maybe you two. And then we'll take the militia. And hopefully we can get ourselves a bit of a strong victory going. Okay, so we've won the battle at Beijing quite handily. And we did lose a destroyer, which is a bit of a shame. But we've had a nice little, again, a good victory elsewhere. Okay, and that's a big victory. Doing that within a couple of days is nothing to be sniffed at. Right. And if we were to do a little bit of an invasion there and load up them ready to go, would it be an issue? Right, so synthetic industry complete. Yeah, happy with that. We'll nationalize the private sector. We can do convoy raiders. We will do this. Order new divisions. Okay. Petrol rationing. Food rationing. So we need new divisions. So open. Yeah. What's 5 more divisions? Okay. We'll take it. Let's conserve fuel. Note. Let's do this one and then take it away there. And yeah, we will seize some fuel. So Japan's attack on China was condemned by the US. And several members of the League of Nations, including Britain, France, Australia, and the Netherlands. These states had economic and territorial interests with former colonies in East and Southeast Asia. And they were increasingly alarmed at Japan's new military power and its willingness to use it, which threatened their control in Asia. In July of 1939, the US terminated its 1911 commercial treaty with Japan. Many members of the Allies have also progressively embargoed Japan, cutting it off from Australian steel, East Indies oil, and other colonial riches. The US has also signaled that if hostilities in China escalate much further, they will feel obliged to embargo Japan. So we'll seize what fuel we can, which isn't a great deal, but it's a little bit. Now we'll postpone that. And hopefully we'll be able to lose that little bit of production there. And then yeah, let's just lend a bit of help with the push. And you know what? We will probably take our guards and infantry units here and maybe send them that way because they should be relatively quick. So there's Tianjin. Alright, and then there goes the commercial agreement. Really good commercial agreement as well, to be honest with you. Bit of a shame. Okay, and we're making some very good progress. Must be said. And yeah, the speed is is really kicking into gear down here. So we will do, yeah, Series A war bonds. And Australia embargoes Japan. Since the breakout of the Second Sino-Japanese War, public opinion in Australia opposed trade relations with Japan. This culminated in the Dafram dispute, during which in several instances wharf labourers refused to load iron destined for Japan. The Australian Council of Trade Unions called for a boycott of Japanese goods and an embargo on the export of iron to Japan in response to Japanese aggression. Eventually, the Australian government approved the ban on all iron export to Japan. Okay. And we don't need to do a scrap metal drive for now. And then there's some victory down there. Okay, and then a couple of infantry units there. To help push out. Nice. And yeah, don't need to do coal rationing. Let's try and just push things a little bit further. It's reducing by about 6 a day. And yeah, we'll use the heavier tank units to push up like that. Oopsie daisy, I meant for you to land directly in Shanghai. Right, let's force them out. And I'm hoping our mediums can do a little bit of ground attack support as well. Right, so some communist guerrillas. How upsetting. Provide a bit of support there, and that seems to have done it really and pushed them. And it looks like we've got a nice little victory going on here pretty nicely. Right, let's ground attack and support it. When in doubt, push out. So England complains, while bombing Japanese targets in Shanghai, we hit a car carrying Britain's ambassador. That's not so good. That's a definitive not so good. Okay, and our fighters and bombers and things are doing a pretty good job of sorting it out. Getting ourselves in a nice position. Now, how many can we load? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we can load 3 units in. Right, and yeah, we can't quite do a landing from there, but we could rebase to here and then go from there. Lovely. Let's transport some extra units in here like this. And start building out that bridgehead. Okay, we're destroying some torpedo boats and a few other bits. then, yeah, I can see that there's a little bit of a push needed here. Okay, and are we gonna... Yeah, we've just surrounded and destroyed that unit. Okay, and we're gonna want to add a conquer mission, I think, on Shaanxi relatively soon. Okay, and we're providing a bit of extra support there to push out. So, the second Shanghai incident on August 9th, 1937, historical outcome. The second Shanghai incident, known as the Battle of Shanghai, was the first major engagement fought between the Republic of China and the Empire of Japan at the beginning of the Second Sino-Japanese War. One of the largest and bloodiest battles of the entire war, on August 9th, the incident at the Hangzhou airport heightened tensions between Japanese and Chinese forces in the Shanghai International Settlement. Japan began sending in reinforcements to Shanghai, asking for the total withdrawal of Chinese forces in the area. A fierce 3-month battle occurred, involving more than 70 divisions, 700,000 men, on the Chinese side, facing 9 Japanese divisions, supported by planes, tanks, heavy artillery, and ships from the 3rd Fleet, totaling 300,000 men. Japan made amphibious landings on the beaches of the Yangtze River and Hangzhou Bay to support its isolated garrison in Shanghai. The Chinese soldiers had to rely primarily on small caliber weapons in defense of Shanghai against an overwhelming Japanese onslaught of air, naval, and armored striking power. In the end, Shanghai fell, and China lost a significant portion of its best troops, while also failing to elicit any international intervention. So, be it. So, I mean, I am happy with that. On the basis that we'll gain some extra units, I think. Not entirely clear what we gain there, but we gain something. Alright, let's push out with all of you. In fact, so we'll use the militia like that, but the rest of you will push with, and then we'll use the militia to support that down there. Okay, and I can see the auxiliary vessels are on the way. Yep, so we've got a major victory there. If we were to move you over to there and then set things in motion, how would it be? Right, and I think this might be the thing that pretty much handles things from here, to be honest with you. I think the bombing of, yeah, this place is gonna work out quite nicely. Right, and I'm gonna take the guard unit away and get them to deal with that annoying communist guerrilla unit. Before they cause too many problems. Right, let's do something like that. So we can form the Shanghai Expeditionary Force. Yeah, I don't think we need to do that. I'm going to hold off on that one. And just gain some extra officers, because we've got more than enough units, I think, in Shanghai. And if we were to take... yeah, just the one. And get you on an invasion mission there. And do something similar with you. Do we think we've got any issues with that? Yeah, we're making some good progress. Right, there we go. We've made it over the river there. The trick will be, can we support... okay, so they don't have much by the way of troops down there. I think the garrisons are starting to struggle. Let's keep that organization just up running a bit longer. And yeah, I want to keep the motorized moving. We're down to 5 IC efficiency, so a bit of a reduction. And then we do have a small counterattack that we're having to deal with over here. We'll move the infantry over to help deal with that. So we can form the Northern China Army. And we do gain a unit for doing so, so that's good. And then there's our units that are able to fan out from there. Let's rebase you and then get the remaining 4 or so. And their supporting groups. And yeah, I will take some extra units available. Right, and I want to beat or build the bridge out, the bridgehead out a bit here, if I can. So the German trained units are quite good, which is quite interesting. Let's take you, like that. And yeah, we'll give you a commander. Okay, and then there's Hot. Let's actually move all of you south and then start sending forces that way. Okay, and the majority of their forces are in the north. So if we can do a little bit of an encirclement, that will help immensely. Okay, let's support attack there with you. Let's do a bit of a push there. Right, and then all of you are pretty much all ready to go in your entirety. So that is a push and a half. We've had 3 major victories in a row. And they're already at 20% towards needing to negotiate a peace settlement. So they ain't doing so good. Alright, we did lose that province there, but that's okay. We can win it back. And then, yeah, we've just taken Hot, if that's how you pronounce it. And we're moving on Jian as well. So Jinnan and Zhengzhou we are moving up on as well. And in fact, in another few more hours, the gateway to over here will be in place as well. So Tian, which is not a bad thing. Want to wipe some units off the map if we can. Okay, and our infantry are making remarkably good progress. And yeah, you need a commander. And we can push with you downwards. Okay, so Chinese troops have defected after the Japanese first began their invasion of China in 1937. In each of the Japanese captured, a collaborationist army might be formed, given various names such as the IGA Assistant Army, Peace Preservation Corps, or the Police Garrison, and so on. Particularly under the Nanjing Nationalist government, they were reorganized into a system of divisions, corps, and armies. During the Second Sino-Japanese War, the Japanese-occupied area was in continuous need for troops to suppress revolts and defend against sabotage to help Japanese supply lines, which diverted much of Japan's regular army manpower. In order to solve its manpower shortage on the front line, especially after 1942 and the outbreak of the Pacific War, and maintain rule over already occupied areas in China, Japanese began employing existing local soldiers and recruiting local people to be responsible for occupied areas' public security. Accordingly, Japanese government area puppet regimes established the North China Xi'an Army and Nanjing Collaborationist Army. Various puppet regimes had nominal control over their own Collaborationist Army only, but Japanese military officers were authorized to command and transfer any Collaborationist Army units as they saw fit. It could be useful. So put the Chinese to use. So we've got a unit of collaborators over in this part of the world. And I think we'll keep them there for now. And then put a bit more into supplies. Okay, and then we've got the Yellow River flood. So lose a little bit of infrastructure. Oh well. And yeah, let's take the peninsula over here. With all these forces. Okay, and then, yep, let's expand our training facilities. And then I want to get the next infantry unit in and up and running. Okay, and it looks to me like their forces are definitely struggling. So, we definitely want to gain that infrastructure. Supreme, yeah, command coordination at 41 level is really good. Army command structure, central planning at 38. Do we need to be doing that? Yeah, all those I think are good. And then exchange IC for resources. I would say it's not worth it for now. Even though everyone's condemning us, everyone really wants to trade with us. So, what's that analogous to, I wonder? Okay, and we've got some more research process. Great Hong Kong Typhoon. And those bonuses are definitely helping. Helping us keep our tech nice and up and running. That German trained unit just got taken out. Yeah, a little bit of extra support in that part of the world. Okay, and I think it's a case of so much for their units now, because I think we've nearly pushed through. Like, they are struggling. And it'd be lovely if we could close in on Tianjin pretty pronto-ish, to be honest with you. And then surrounding Yuan would be maybe an even better idea. And I think that battle will start going in our favor too, to be honest with you. Okay, one frontline proper infantry division will definitely do the job there. There goes Tokyo. And yeah, we knew that one was going to be a bit of a pain in the bum. Okay, and then let's take one that way, and another one that way. Oh, there goes mass assault. Yeah, we'll take you off there. And then we can get the formation of some extra units. So later, we will take some extra units. Yeah, definitely. And get them ready maybe for a further invasion down here. It's, yeah, these locations, I think, in this part of the world. But I think I will call it an episode there, everyone. It's been pretty much 1 month, and we've got the majority of, I think, our initial objectives kind of taken. Next up will be to defeat Zhangzi, which I don't think will be too far away. They got 2 there and a 1 there, so should be relatively straightforward. We've already taken a few major cities away from the Chinese. So they're at 29%, and they've only got national unity of 89, so we should be able to handle that quite quickly. In fact, hopefully we won't need to take Chengdu at that kind of level. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing the next episode of Hearts of Iron 3. Thanks again.